What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Vibes it up in the kitchen. I posted an image on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, what you waiting for? Caribbean Pot, check it out. Real pictures on there. Macro and scene. The sweater choking me, boy. Anyways, I posted that picture. Cassava, which some people call yuca, boiled and refried with saltfish. Watch now, classic Caribbean dish this. And I'm going to show you a cheat version. You're going to like this one, man. Vibes it up. I believe I may have posted this before. I'm getting old memory. Ain't too right. But this one here a little bit different in any case. Vibes it up, man. Cassava with refried saltfish. The first thing you need is a pot of boiling water. And you can salt it as well. So you can have salted boiling water. But I'm not going to use any salt, simply because I'm using salted cod in the recipe. Now if later on when you see me use a salted cod, if you choose to keep this vegetarian and not use a salted cod, obviously you will go in here with about a teaspoon of salt or so. And I'm going in with the frozen, and I want to boil the water boiling because turn the heat up high, because I'm putting in the frozen cassava, which is already peeled. And you may call it cassava, you may call it yuca, some people may call it manioc. If you're doing this from scratch, and the reason why I'm using the frozen one out of the package here is because it's much more convenient, easier to peel. But I believe on my food FAQ channel I have a video on there showing you how to peel cassava if you're using fresh cassava. Boil it according to the package instructions. So in my case here, I believe it's about 20 minutes, and we're going to drain it and get to the other step. So it's been about 20 minutes on that sort of vigorous boil. You will see them float to the top. That's also an indication that it is fully cooked. You can use a paring knife, go through it, and if there's no pressure, if it goes through smoothly, that's another sign that it's fully cooked. I'm going to remove it off the stove, drain it, and allow it to cool, because at the center of this the frozen variety that I bought here has a sort of a rope or a string that we need to remove. So being a boil and fry dish, the next step is the frying step. So I'm going to go in with a couple tablespoons. My heat is on low. I'm going to go in with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. If you want to use coconut oil, vegetable oil, whatever your preference is, that is cool. Just bring that up to temperature, and I have here about half a cup of shredded, already prepared salted cod, which means it's been soaked, it's been boiled to remove most of the salt, and then I just flaked it. It was boneless that I'm using, simply because less work for me. I'm going to toss that in here, and the oil is still very low, and I just want that to cook to release all that saltfish goodness, salted cod goodness in the oil. As the saltfish flavors that oil there, just thought I'd show you. This is a piece of the cooked cassava, and in the center, I broke it open. In the center, you're going to see this sort of string or rope. It's going to be quite tough, and you really don't want to be eating that. I'm just going to remove that altogether, and we're just going to discard that. That is what I was talking about. Time to start building more flavors in this, and again, I'm going back to my black pepper without the actual pepper mill. I'm still missing my pepper mill. I've got here 2 cloves of garlic that I chopped up. Give it a sort of a fine chop if you can. And about 4 small sprigs of thyme. And you want to give that a stir just to move it around. Just for about a minute. Just for that garlic to waken up, as well as that fresh thyme. I'm also going to go in with a tiny bit, about a tablespoon of chopped parsley, just to get that herbal element going, you know. For a little kick, I'm going to go in with some Caribbean Sunshine, scotch bonnet pepper, and that is totally optional. It's whether you want to put it in there or not. And you would notice that I included a little bit of the seeds, but try not to include any of the seeds or the white membrane surrounding the seeds. That's where most of that heat is going to be, a sort of live fire. Then I have here, and it's whatever I found in the fridge. I've got a little bit of bell pepper, green bell pepper. I've got here 2 scallions that I chopped up as well. And 1 tomato that I seeded and diced. And we want to mix that all together and let that go for about 3 minutes before we add back the cassava to it. So all I'm doing is pretty much mixing that up, and the kitchen is going to be smelling wicked at this point. Yeah, man. Good food. Now, if you recall, I mentioned I will not be using any salt in this because the remaining salt from that salted cod, even though I boiled it, it will still be enough for my liking. If you want, you can add some salt to the dish. And as I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to skip the salted cod, you can certainly do that. That step if you want to keep this fully vegetarian. Now it's just a matter of adding the pre-cooked cassava, and all the ingredients that I use in this dish will be listed down in the description below. I cut them up into about 1-inch pieces after I remove the sort of string on the inside. Give it a good mix. You want to warm this back up, warm it through, and allow all those flavors to come together. And you know, man, you're eating a wicked dish here, you know. Country something, as my dad would say, country food. Just allowed it to warm about 3 minutes all the way through, and I toss it up. Chris here, turning off the heat, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. Remember to give the video the thumbs up, post questions and comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. And give the recipe a try, man. You're going to like it. Remember, if you want to do this vegetarian, leave out the saltfish. Simple like that. Bless up, man.